So I'm out looking for homeless people again in Beijing because I did this video about 6 or 7 months ago and I didn't find any because I was walking in my neighborhood. And my neighborhood is kind of where the tourists are. I'm very close to Jingsheng Park and the Forbidden City and, you know, Beihai Park and all that. So a lot of people said, hey, you didn't go to a place that homeless people would be present. You need to go to the outskirts of Beijing. So I'm currently walking to the subway station. I'm going to hop on the subway and we're going to take line 6 all the way to the west. It's very windy today, so hopefully this works. But we're going to take line 6 all the way to the west, basically to the end. There's a station called Shaoyuan, which is second to last stop, and then we'll walk towards the last stop. I'll have to look up the name for that one because I looked it up earlier, but I forgot. I never go out to this area, ever. So we will go there and we'll see exactly what's out there and if we can find homeless people on the outskirts of Beijing, where everybody said if we did find any, that's where they'd be. I don't believe we will, but we'll go out and we'll see. Alright, that took me like an hour, but as you can see behind me here, I'm at Shaoyuan subway stop. It took like an hour. I'm gonna walk around now and show you what the outskirts of Beijing look like, since many of you were curious about that. So let's get my gimbal, my stabilizer out, and then we'll walk around a little bit and see what it looks like out here at the outskirts of Beijing and see if we can find any homeless people, which everybody said they would be out here. I'm pretty sure they won't be, but let's go. All right, so we can see here's the subway station that I just came out of, and we're gonna walk along and I guess, yeah, we'll look for homeless people as we walk along. Obviously, on the outskirts of Beijing, everything is built up in the sense of there's a lot of new construction, a lot of new houses, a lot of new subway lines, because that's where they are going now, is the subway lines are ending up at the end of the line. So you can see out here, you can see the mountains, which normally you can't really see. I mean, mountains, they're large hills, but if you know anything about Beijing, it's kind of in like a depression, and around it is surrounded by these tall hills. Some would say mountains. But here we have a massive shopping center out at the middle of, I mean, kind of nowhere, but yet it's not, because there's apartment buildings here, as you can see, and there's some traffic, as you can hear and see. So all this talk about, oh, go out to the outskirts, it's gonna be destitute and desolate and there's gonna be homeless people everywhere and encampments. I mean, this is just right here at the subway stop. So you can see for yourself that it's not exactly, I mean, they got bike lanes here for DDs and I guess, well, like the shared bikes. Well, some of them are DDs. Like the company owns some of the shared bikes. Anyways, so they have like bike lanes. Everything's brand new, as you can see. The roads are nice and new. No potholes. Not a whole lot going on, but it's all built up. And this is just right here by the subway. Obviously, we'll keep walking and see where else we end up. I got a green light, so I can go now. Let's check out this mall first, and then we'll try and get off of this kind of main area to see if we can find some smaller side streets or some places that maybe homeless people would be hanging out. I mean, honestly, this is my first time ever being out here, so I honestly have no idea where to walk. I don't know what this is. It says Financial Street Joy Peace. Okay. Name of the shopping center. As you can see, it's got like a McDonald's out here, a McCafe. So, and a fake KFC, whatever this is. So yeah, there's a shopping mall here with a McCafe, some artwork, bunch of other stuff. I'm sure if I went inside, but that's not the point of this video, so I'm not gonna go inside. but this is kind of like a normal setting if you come out to the outskirts of Beijing. Lots of apartment buildings, as you can imagine, because this is where it's a little bit cheaper to live. And again, a little bit cheaper is, you know, still expensive if you want to buy something. Rent out here probably wouldn't be too bad. If I see a office, like yeah, an office where you can rent an apartment, maybe I'll show you some listings. I don't know if I'll see one out here, but obviously if you're renting, they have to be out here somewhere. But you might have to go directly to one of the apartment complexes to find like the office to rent directly, not like Linja or one of these other agencies. Wojia, whatever the other one is, My Home something. Wojia, I think is what it's called, or Linja, or some of the other ones. See, Huawei store in the mall, advertising some of their newest phones. So this is just a big mall. We're gonna go this way, I guess, now that I'm starting this way. It's a nice day. As you can see, quite blue skies. And we'll go this way for a little bit and see if there are, well, here we see the whole thing. We got all kinds of brands, 4 floors of brands of different things. Adidas and McDonald's and Weidoman and Pizza Hut here. So yeah, like, everybody who says come all the way out to the end of the lines and see what's out there, it's like, well, it's not really that different than what's in the center of the cities. At least this part is. You know, I've been out to some of the other areas where it is a little bit more remote, and where you will have kind of more rundown areas. But like I said, I've never been out here before, so I just decided why not come out and see what's going on. Well, convenience stores, some kind of tea shop, you know, mobile phone shop, fast food. So this is all kind of just like a big mall. And on the other side, we have some more shops. So let me walk for a little bit and then see if I can find an area that's worth showing, so to say. All right, so I walked a little bit farther and I found a small park. Maybe this is the small park that they were referring to. And I'm gonna walk through it to see if there's anybody in the park. It looks like it's pretty dead in terms of foot traffic or in terms of people, but it's a nice day. I walk through the park, and normally, I guess, not normally, but in the United States, because that's what I was comparing it to last time in the last video, I said there's a lot of homeless people in the United States. And then I tried to look at some of the numbers, and some of the people said, well, you're in the wrong place. So I said, okay, let me do another video. I'll come out here and see if I can find people in a park. And this looks like, you know, benches, probably a bathroom in here somewhere if I walk around long enough. You know, obviously maintained. There's landscaping going on. The trees look like they've been recently watered. And there's not a lot of people, one, and there's no homeless people. A lot of people were criticizing me in the last video saying I only went around like the Forbidden City area and kind of my neighborhood. And I'm like, well, most people live within a certain area within their city, if that makes sense. Like, they don't go that far out of their normal routines. And if you live in the United States, your normal routine for most big cities, and Beijing is one of the biggest cities in the world, would kind of have you come in contact with homeless people. If you're living in New York, if you're, you know, going around, you'll probably come across a beggar or two, or somebody sleeping on the street. If you live in DC, if you live in, you know, LA or somewhere else, even in Florida, in smaller towns. When I was there over the kind of winter time, when I went home in December to hang out with my parents, you know, just pulling into like a Walmart, like shopping center or something, there was people out by like the road. So like in the medians or like around the roundabouts and stuff, people were clearly begging, asked with little signs saying, hey, I'm homeless, can you help me? And I think that's what I was trying to point out in the last video, where everybody's like, oh, you're in the wrong area. And it's like, well, not really, because any area in the United States, if you're in a reasonable sized city, you'll probably come across some people. So like here, I'm coming across some people, but they're clearly just elderly people. and they're playing cards. Looks like maybe mahjong. Nah, looks like a deck of cards. Yeah, they're just playing cards. So this is what you'll find in parks in China oftentimes, is people just playing cards and enjoying the park, doing some type of activity. Maybe they're playing sports, some people be out running, some people like this lady's just sitting here enjoying the shade, and it's a nice park. So there's a big difference. And again, not saying that parks aren't enjoyed in other countries. Many people who go to parks in the United States are just, you know, using it for that purpose. But that was the one criticism I wanted to kind of point out, was this is going out of my way. I had to go an hour and like 20 minutes on the subway to come to this park to try and find homeless people. And then here, there's none. There's a person up here in their hammock enjoying, you know, a young lady with maybe her child enjoying the shade. That's who we see in this park. We got another guy over here sitting on the bench, chilling on his phone. We got a guy up here walking his dog, and we got a lot of pretty flowers. These look like rose bushes. And so that's kind of the difference, is even if I go out of my way to look for this, I can't find it. Whereas pretty much any street corner in a big city, you know, you walk for 10 minutes in a big city, you're probably going to come across somebody who has a sign, or is clearly down on their luck, or is clearly struggling to make ends meet, and they might actually be begging, or they might actually be homeless. So let's get back out on the street, out of the park, and see what's going on. Got a guy here in a wheelchair, but that's like a motorized wheelchair, so clearly nothing to worry about there. And let's go down this way for a little bit. So you have to be aware that when these vloggers who are anti-China post these things saying there's homeless people all over the country, oftentimes they're using footage that is clearly of people who are just on their lunch break, or they're taking a break from work because it is the middle of the day and it's hot, and they're laying on a bench. And Chinese have something like a siesta where most people stop working from 11:30 to maybe 2. And if you aren't near your dwelling or not near your house, you might just lay on a park bench, or you might find a little corner to sit in. And if you photograph those people, or you take video of them, you could give the impression that they are homeless. But in reality, they're just on their break. And they might be at a construction site and they're just waiting to go back. Or they might be like a driver, taxi driver or something, or anybody who's just deciding to, hey, I'm gonna take a quick break and lie down. But if you are trying to portray that in a specific way, then you can definitely do that. You could say, look at all these homeless people. The other thing is, there are homeless people. So some of the videos are true. And people have found them in parks or around train stations or wherever they might be, and they are homeless. I'm not saying that there aren't any homeless people here. I'm just saying that those videos that are demonizing it and saying that it's like widespread, you have to be very clear on, is that person being honest with the footage they have, or are they trying to manipulate that media to show something that isn't actually true? Like I said, I've been here for 14 years and I'm going to be leaving soon, but that's why I wanted to do this video now, because it's like I won't be able to walk along on the streets. But I haven't seen enough people that are clearly homeless with signs saying I'm needing food or I need this or that. And you might say, oh, well, they don't have signs in China. It's like, okay, well, you can get into the nitty-gritty and you can argue all day long, but I'm sharing my experience here and what I've seen with my own eyes. And you can look at hundreds of people that travel in China and their videos, and hundreds of people that live here in China, and you can look at their videos and compare it to the hundreds of videos that are anti-China from people that have never been here, and say, who do you think is telling the truth? What value does either side get? And you might say, well, your video does well and gets a lot of views, makes some money. I'm like, okay, I make a little bit of money off of YouTube, but not enough to be out here spreading lies. Because if I really wanted to make money, I would do it the other way, because those videos tend to get way more views. The ones that are negative, the ones that are against China, tend to get way more views, and that would make me more money. So it would make more sense for me to be anti-China if I was trying to go that route. My motive has always been, as I've kind of stated in many videos, is to show that China's a normal country, that people live here normally, and that it's not something to be feared like this terrible, evil place where everybody is oppressed and everybody is struggling and everybody's scared, when in reality, I haven't experienced that. Are there people that don't like the government? Sure, but that's every country. Are there people that love the government? Absolutely. And those are also people that are benefiting from it. But it's not this, well, it's just a windy place apparently. But it's not this terrible place, and that's kind of always been my message. I hope that you guys like this video. I'll walk around a little bit more, and if I see any more shots that I think are worth showing you, I will. But if not, hope you guys like this video. Walking out in the middle of a random place in the outskirts of Beijing. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. If you think that what I'm saying is correct, you know, share it, let other people know that, yeah, China really isn't this awful, terrible place. And hopefully I can keep spreading this message even in the future. And I will hopefully see you in a new video. Hopefully I can go around and see some more places here in Beijing before I leave. I have like about another month or two. So hopefully I can get some more videos from China before we head off to Portugal. But give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next one. So I got myself a little bike, and I'm just out here cruising on these empty streets, heading kind of back on the subway line, but yeah, following it back a little bit like I said I would. But I mean, yeah, it's very much the same.